Hello, welcome to my maths lesson again. For this video, we are going to work on verifying trigonometric identities. I have some good tips that will keep you on track and hopefully make this a little bit easier. One of the first tips is you already have to know all of your identities. There is a lot of little connections that may take you from side A to side B. And knowing those identities will make it a little bit easier to recognize maybe what you can sort out. Another good tip is always start with the more complicated side. Usually, we have a little bit of a simpler time cancelling things out or making things simpler. So, the more complicated side is usually easier to do that way. You can also write things using sine and cosine. This will help us to figure out any relationship that we might see. Usually, only using sine and cosine, it can also reveal things that maybe needs to be cancelled out or simplified. You may also factors or multiply by a 1 to go ahead and change how a fraction looks. What I mean by that is we might multiply it by expressions like cosine plus 1 or divided by cosine plus 1. And of course, my last tip for this is you need to practice verifying this as much as possible. The more you practice, the more you do this, the easier it will get. The more relationship you will see to connect both sides. Alright, so we are going to do a few more examples so you can see what this process looks like. The first questions that we are going to work on is secant of x minus cosine of x is equal to sine of x multiplied by tangent of x. We are just supposed to verify if this identity is true. In terms of which side I should start with, they both look about the same. So, I'm just going to start over here on the left with secant of x minus cosine x. I'm going to start writing things into sine and cosine. So, I know that secant over here is the same as 1 divided by cosine. And cosine here, I rewrite it as cosine over 1. I can combine it with the other fraction if I could get a common denominator of cosine. Therefore, I multiply it with cosine of x over cosine of x, and I will get 1 minus cosine square of x over cosine x. I may simplify 1 minus cosine square x by using the Pythagorean identities. Since we have sine square x plus cosine square x equal to 1, therefore 1 minus cosine square x is equivalent to sine square x. So we are going to have sine square x over cos x. And we rewrite it as sine x multiplied with sine x over cos x, and we may change the sine x over cos x in the term of tangent of x. Therefore, we have sine x multiplied with the tangent x shown. For the following questions, we are going to express 1 plus sine x over cosine x plus cosine x over 1 plus sine x in a single trigonometric functions. From the given expressions, we plan to convert it into a single trigonometric function by using a common denominator of cosine x multiplied with 1 plus sine x. Therefore, for these expressions, we multiply with 1 plus sine x over 1 plus sine x. And for these expressions, we multiply with cos x over cos x. For the numerators, we are going to get the square of 1 plus sine x plus cosine square x. We expand the square of 1 plus sine x, and we are going to get 1 plus 2 sine x plus sine square x plus cosine square x. Since sine square x plus cos square x is equivalent to 1, so we get the 2 plus 2 sine x for the numerators. We factorize the numerators and we simplify it. We will get 2 over cos x, and finally we will have 2 secant x. For the next questions, we are going to verify tangent square x multiplied with 1 plus cotangent square x equivalent to 1 minus sine square x. So, we plan to start from the left-hand side. For the very first step, we expand it to get tangent square x plus tangent square x multiplied with cotangent square x. We change the tangent square x in the term of sine square x over cosine square x, and cotangent in terms of cosine square x over sine square x, and we try to simplify it. So we will have tangent square x plus 1. Since from the Pythagorean identity, tangent square x plus 1 is equivalent to secant square x, so we will have the secant square x here. We change the secant square x to 1 over cosine square x, and from the Pythagorean identity, cosine square x is equivalent to 1 minus sine square x. So we have shown the expression.